Welcome back to Chasing Baseball's Immortals. Today I'm turning the spotlight on Frank Frisch and his scarce 1922 W501 strip card. This is one of his earlier issues, featuring with the New York Giants. Let's get started. Frank Frisch was one of the defining stars of the National League during the 1920s and 1930s, a switch-hitting spark plug whose energy earned him the nickname the Fordham Flash. Born in 1898 in New York City, Frisch was a multi-sport standout at Fordham University before jumping straight to the majors with the New York Giants in 1919, one of the rare players of his era to skip the minors entirely. With the Giants, Frisch became the heartbeat of John McGraw's club, helping lead New York to 4 straight pennants from 1921 to 1924. His blend of speed, defense, and line drive hitting made him one of the most dynamic infielders of the decade. In 1927, he was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals, where he became the central figure in the rise of the Gashouse Gang, serving as both a player and later a player manager. Frisch won the 1927 MVP award, had a career batting average of .316, collected more than 2,800 hits, and played in 8 World Series, winning 4 of them. He had an unmistakable presence on the field due to his fiery leadership style and relentless play. After retiring, he managed for several seasons and later became a longtime voice on baseball radio broadcast. Frisch was elected in the Hall of Fame in 1947, remembered as one of the great catalysts of the early 20th century baseball, a player whose speed, spirit, and competitive edge helped define 2 iconic franchises. The 1920 W501 card set features 120 hand-cut cards that closely resemble the E121 caramel issues of the early 1920s. Each card carries a black and white photo with numbering in the upper right-hand corner and the label G422 mark in the upper left. Originally issued in 24 card uncut strips, the set includes an impressive lineup of Hall of Famers including Cobb, Ruth, Johnson, Speaker, Alexander, and Hornsby, making it one of the era's most intriguing early cardboard releases. The W501 Frank Frisch captures him in his early days with the New York Giants. Shown in a black and white action pose fielding a ball, it's an extremely scarce card with only 10 graded examples between PSA and SGC. Collectors may have to wait for one to surface, but despite the rarity, copies typically sell between $150 and $250. For collectors, this card offers a distinctive early image of a future Hall of Famer and a piece that's both unique and surprisingly affordable. All right, we'll take a look at the card. Here's my example of the 1922 W501 Frank Frisch. As noted, this is a strip card. Whoever cut it did a great job. It's well centered, both top and bottom and left and right. The edges are fairly straight. The corners do have some wear on it, but they're still relatively sharp. And the image is clear. Good resolution. The back, it is a blank back, but there's no staining. Overall, it presents as a really good example of the card. This is a PSA 4, and I got this copy on Whatnot. I typically don't shop on Whatnot. I was experimenting with it about a year ago just to see what it had to offer, and I found out that you seemingly oftentimes overpay just because you don't have the time to do the market research as they're throwing cards up for bid. But on this example, I figured it was at enough time, the dealer, it was going to be auctioned off at the end of his show, and nobody wanted it, and I got it for $150. So really pleased with that deal. I think I got a good price and a good card. That completes my Frank Frisch collection. Collectors looking for a Frank Frisch card have plenty of options, but it's a mix between extreme scarcity and then only a handful of accessible issues. I've highlighted 3 that stand out for different reasons: 1922 W503, the 1929-30 Exhibits 4 and 1, and the 1933 Gaudi. The 1922 503 is probably my favorite image of Frisch on cardboard. It's an exceptionally scarce issue, traditionally labeled a strip card, though some collectors believe it may have been distributed with caramel. Patience is essential here. Only 6 copies have ever been graded. Despite the rarity, recorded sales hover around $600, making it surprisingly attainable high-end piece. Next is a 1929-30 Exhibits 4-in-1, a card that stands out for both its design and star power. Frisch appears alongside Sonny Jim Bottomley and Grover Cleveland Alexander, the third winningest pitcher in baseball history. This is another tough card with only 24 graded examples. Prices typically land around $500, give or take, based on condition. Finally, there's Frisch's 1933 Gowdy. Unlike the first two, this one is in full color and far more available, but demand remains strong because of the set's iconic status. Even low-grade copies still cost collectors a few $100s. Frisch's catalog spans 4 decades, from his playing days through his managerial career in the 50s. Most of his issues are limited and offer a genuine chase. He has some more commonly available cards for collectors simply looking to add an inexpensive Frisch to their collection. On deck, we'll take a deep dive into the player many consider the greatest third baseman of the first half of the 20th century, Pie Traynor, in his 1935 Diamond Stars issue. This card has seen a surge of interest lately, and rightfully so, thanks to its striking Art Deco portrait and a Hall of Fame rich checklist that makes this set one of the era's most collectible. See you then.